Now that the sun is finally coming up over there somewhere, over there, I can finally start to explain the reason for this video. The goal of this is really to explain how it is you train, or how it is at least I'm training for Everest, which at this point is I think just over 8 or 9 weeks away. As you can see, today's session is probably one of the key ones every week, which is the heavy hike, or last weekend, given the weather, a 3-hour session on a stair climber with the big boots you can see strapped to my bag. And given I will be out for a few hours trying to climb, hopefully if you can see it, this mountain in the background, having started from down in the valley at 6 a.m. this morning, I will have plenty of time to explain how it is I'm getting my body and partly my mind ready. I think one of the first things to say about training for Everest or any big mountain or actually race is there's going to be sacrifice, or at least there should be sacrifice. I don't mean that in the way of training to the point at which you hurt yourself, or on a day like this where you get too cold and lose a toe or something. But it's more, I suppose, when looking at Everest, it's got a lot of bad publicity over the last few years because people that maybe aren't prepared, haven't trained, but had the money, are turning up to the mountain. It's certainly not what I'm trying to do, and when we go into the way I'm training is to avoid that and to make sure I'm as well prepared or as capable as I can be. But if we use today as the example, the alarm went off at 3 a.m, which I was kind of reminded is barely the next day. I drove out and started hiking at about 6 a.m. Why? Because, I mean, firstly, we want to get out here, especially with the way the light is. But secondly, I suppose my partner, Emma, is training for the Ironman. And training for something like this takes a lot of time. If, you don't try get up early, you don't try have that balance of, spending time together, seeing friends, family, it's going to be challenging. What some people don't do is, you prefer to see the friends and family, drink and have fun, and there's definitely a time and a place for that. But for a mountain like this, you need to train, you need to put the work in, you really need to make sure that when push comes to shove, when you turn up to that mountain, you've done absolutely everything you can do. You can't prepare for, when some things go wrong, but if they do, the idea is to be ready, to have your body and mind really in as good a position as it should or could be to prepare for a challenge like that. And right now, I spent a lot of time up to my knees and hips in snow, trying to get up this mountain on the right behind me. Not bringing snowshoes, it's silly. There is some stones under. The problem is, as the sun comes up, it gets warmer. Okay, because, and I've probably put it in the video here behind me, because it's taken about just under 4 hours to go less than 5.5k, and we still need to get up there. We're going to call it here. So I'm gonna put my big boots on and have a bit of lunch, and then go back down. Now, I had planned to talk as I hiked up here all about my plans for training, or how I train and things like that, but instead we're gonna sit here. I'm gonna get my pieces together and we're gonna talk about it while we're here. So, the key thing on a Monday when it comes to training, there's 3 sessions, and I might have said this already, there's 3 strength sessions a week, because as the video probably showed, there's a lot of strength work, not only in terms of climbing, but also carrying a lot of the equipment and gear up and down. So a lot of that is lower body focused. So Monday sessions are a strength session, Tuesdays upper body, because again it's still upper body related, and then Fridays are a full body session. Right now, Monday evenings are a relatively easy run, upwards to about an hour. I'm due to get the altitude tent, which I'll use when I'm on those Monday sessions on the turbo trainer at home. Again, much of the training, and you'll hear about this, is in that lower intensity, and the idea being for anyone that's new to training or has probably heard this idea of zone 2 or building up your base. I guess why that's important, most people look at it, your ability, as the likes of a pyramid or a circus tent. Your base, how big and how wide your base really allows you to build up a solid foundation. Your anaerobic or higher intensity then is what people see as the peak of the tent. For that to be as high as possible, we need to build as wide as possible at the bottom, and that's why a lot of what I do will be focused on the zone 2 training. Tuesdays then, and what I've probably seen, as you can see from what it is I tried to climb today, a lot of these activities are going uphill. So there's at least 2, if not 3 elevation sessions every week. There's half my lunch. And what I mean by elevation is, steady going uphill or downhill. Today is both. Tuesdays quite often are a stepper or running up the local mountain in Zurich, Uetliberg. Thursdays then will be a gym session in the morning and a stair climber in the evening. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are gym and climbing. And the bottle has leaked all over my bag. That is fantastic. Wednesdays are a rest day. Nothing more to say on that. It's important, and I realised that this year after I got sick multiple times, just how important the rest is. And on a Wednesday, the idea will be I can wake up later or start work early, and either way, not train. In the evening then, I'll head to the sauna. Usually do 3 20-minute blocks, so 20 minutes in, 5 minutes in the cold, and back again 3 times. Why? Just really trying to flush the system and get as much rest in as I can, because Thursdays, like I said, we go into the gym, and stair climber. Fridays are one of my only high intensity sessions every week. I try and keep it the same setup and really push it harder and harder each week, seeing that time go down and seeing the improvement. It's hard to compare when you're not doing the same activities, but on a Friday it'll be 50 calories on the assault bike, 50 calories on the skier, 40 on the bike, 40 on the skier, all the way down to 10. So That's usually the approach. And then Saturdays are probably the most important session. Other sessions, sick, unwell, traveling with work, we can maybe miss them. Ultimately we try not to, but Saturdays are really the one we can't miss. Last weekend, ironically, this would have been a whiteout, really bad weather, so we still had to go in and we went to the gym. Spent 3 hours on a stair climber, an hour and a half of which was with the big boots I'm going to put on now. And that's really trying to mimic what being out there will be like. There'll be hours of walking uphill, downhill, in the snow, and Switzerland, as you can see, is the perfect place for it. Right now, Sunday sessions differ. It can be an easy run, long walk, a cycle, or tomorrow it'll be an easy run and then skiing. Again, the idea, moving on tired legs, still keeping the endurance up rather than resting, trying to limit that to Wednesday. And that's it. Usually I'll structure my training for about a 6-week block of training before I take a deload week and go again, gradually building up and up. Now, given we're just under 8-9 weeks from training, this is really when it gets very specific and the sessions start to peak. So a bit shorter, or not as high as I would have hoped today. I think today's session will come in at about 5 or 6 hours out in the hills. I had hoped to summit, but some rookie mistakes made, like this morning, not bringing snowshoes, not putting on crampons when I should have, not sizing up my crampons from when someone else wore them. But this is it. Again, you make the mistakes here in training because come the big day, that isn't the time to make any of those mistakes. So, hopefully that's made it clear in terms of training. If I've missed anything or I watch this video back and it doesn't make sense, cut to me sitting at home trying to record more of it. Thanks for following. I'll see you in the next one. That's why we're on the way down, constantly up to my knees and hips in snow. But one of the things, I might be better off recording this when I get home.